You even ignore that it's Phil Simms bobblehead day and pick the. Or you can change your mind if you want. You can go with the Giants if you want.
No. See, I don't fall into those traps. Phil on this one. Go Niners. Here we go.
All right. That was last week. What a comment to make about your own dad. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Since you've been calling him the big 26 years, what's wrong with one more F-bomb directed at the old man? And by the way, we showed the bobblehead on Monday. They really did get the hair wrong.
Yeah, well,
Really
I know.
did.
I don't know. It seems to be like, they don't, he's had a few action figures throughout the day, right? The old starting lineup ones and all that, and they've always kind of like defaulted to that kind of hair, right? So, yeah, it's not exactly a perfect representation, but it just was so funny, too, that bobblehead day ended up with, yes, the 49ers in town. Of course, it's Kyle. It's our family friends. The Shanahans are all there, so they're sending me pictures through the day like, I can't believe I'm getting a Phil Simms bobblehead as I'm coming in the stadium today, right? We had lots of family and friends there for that football game, and I love the Giants, but they don't supersede one of my best friends in the world and Shanahan there. So I rooted for them a little last week.
By the way, I still have the Phil Simms starting lineup figure in the case that I bought a couple of years ago.
Which one is it? Is he in all white, or is he in? If he's in all white, or is he wearing the blue jersey? Right? Because there's two of them. I'm a historian, as you know, so I remember those things, and I used to collect. Right.
I see it every time I go down there because it's because I'm running out of space, so it's like I got to find a spot for this, and so it's right by the paper towel rack by the sink. And I see it all the time.
Right.
I think it's all white. I think it's all white.
Yeah, it could be.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check and see if it's the Dutch boy haircut or if it has any like false wave to it, like the bobblehead.
We got to get you a Phil Simms jersey, and so you could put it next to Lawrence Taylor, and he could sign it, and you'd have one that says "badass." And then you could have my dad there, and he'll write underneath all his stuff, AKA the big. I think that would go well in your room, in your dorm.
That would be awesome.
Right.
That would be awesome because I have a spot next to I have the Taylor jersey up in my office, and I have a spot next to it, so I could put it right there.
Yep. All right. Good. We'll try to work the day. There was the blue one you saw there, but I
think that might be it. I think it might be the blue one. That one looks right.
Okay.
That one looks right. Unless I see the white on white one, I think that's it. And we didn't get a good look at the hair.
Hair's a little better there. It's a little better. It's a little more realistic. I mean, he's got like just a floppy mop on his head, so there's no texture to his hair at all. As we said, it was kind of like when he was growing up, it looked a little Dumb and Dumber. It was like maybe his mom and dad just put the bowl on his head and they trimmed around it. It had a lot of that style to it. All right, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Well, let's not get to it. Last week, straight up, we both tied at 9-5. What am I? What is that? What are those called? What are those figures called?
I know.
Bunko Pops? Bunko? Is it Bunko?
That I don't know. I don't really
know
them. Right.
Man, we were 0-3 in the best bets each. Good Lord.
Not a good one. But
I never remember.
Yeah, right.
Do you ever even remember what your best bets were? Like, you take them so seriously. And when we're watching the games on Sunday, we're like, what were our best bets? Like, I forget every week.
I
last week was good reason to forget.
Yeah, it was good. But see, this is where gambling's hard. And like, I've looked at what I picked last week. Okay, the Lions game, I got that wrong, right? The Colts game, I mean, I'm not mad at the Colts game. The Colts messed it up. TJ Watt made a few plays. I mean, they're on the cusp of going up 14-0, and TJ Watt gets a strip sack, and it's like, oh man, that changed everything. So it's like, I'm not discouraged by that. The Chargers game, yeah, I mean, I didn't think Justin Herbert would throw a pick six and they'd let up a punt return, and then you're in that kind of game. So like, again, you lose. It's like discouraging, but yet I go, yeah, I'm okay with that. I still am not mad at my Chargers pick, and I'm not mad, at the Colts pick. Now, where I'm mad is a little bit like I thought about the Texans under in that game. The under hit. The other one I said during best bets, I was like, I like the Rams -14. I don't know if I have the guts to pick it. Well, that hit as well, and that's where I get pissed. Where I go, man, I had 5 here, and I picked the wrong ones, and that's where I get angry about it, and I do take it seriously.
It just shows you how hard it is.
It's hard, right?
When it's
That's
time
right.
to make your picks. And if you're doing like a 3-leg parlay, it is virtually impossible. That's why they They like those 3-leg parlays because they are virtually impossible. It's like flipping a coin 3 times and having it come up heads each time. And it's hard. And you outthink yourself, you outsmart yourself. And it does come down to a handful of plays that change everything. Mike Tomlin said that after the game on Sunday. And he also said 1 week you're drinking wine, 1 week you're squishing grapes. And you never know. And it really does. Games go off the rails early. Games change from the get-go. Based upon a play here, a play there.
Yeah,
and
it
the
could
next
change
thing
the
you know,
whole
team's
dynamic.
down 2 scores.
Exactly.
And they become more desperate, and then it just becomes an avalanche.
Exactly
and
right.
Otherwise, you take away that one play, and it's a close game down to the wire. All right. Enough of that. Enough of the graphic. Thank God that's gone. Every week this season, you can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Sims pick and pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the pools tab, enter the Florio and Sims free $1,000 pick and pool to make your picks.
And remember, this year, no Thursday night games, no early morning Sunday games, no Germany game this week. First time ever in Berlin. You have until 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday to get your picks in. Okay, 4 teams off this week. No Chiefs, no Cowboys, no Bengals, no Titans. Thursday night football. Somebody suggested maybe they can move this one to Monday night for the people who don't have YouTube TV because it's the Raiders. We have the next 2 Raiders games in prime time. I am wondering if Tom Brady's going to show up with his clone dog. The clone dog can go sniff Peter's butt, and they can have a good old time in the Amazon booth. We'll find out whether or not Tom Brady is there. The Raiders are 9.5-point underdogs in Denver. Denver's breaking out the old Orange Crush uniforms. That's the biggest spread of the week. It's a tie for the biggest spread of the week with an over-under of 42.5. Who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Broncos, of course. I don't have enough faith in the Raiders. You know, as you've heard me say before, the Raiders' defense, it's better than statistically and where it ranks and all that. They can be a pain in the butt, certainly. But still, as I always say, not enough playmakers there on that side of the ball. And because of the offense, usually the dam eventually breaks on the defensive side of the ball because they're on the field too much and the Raiders offense just can't sustain drives that way. And then off of that, yeah, I don't really trust the Raiders offense either. It's Brock Bowers. If you could stop him, you got a pretty good chance of dominating their football team. I have a hard time thinking that the Denver Broncos will let Brock Bowers go completely off. And yeah, you know, I think the Broncos defense is damn good. Geno is in a year where he's been too aggressive. He's too loose with the ball. I think he gets frustrated in moments and tries to make a play. I think it's a night where, yeah, he'll throw an interception. It'd be a night where I'd almost bet the Broncos defense scores a touchdown at some point. I'm going to go Broncos 30-17.
Yeah, look, the Broncos have won 6 games in a row. They and the Patriots are tied for the longest streak currently in the NFL. Started 1-2 and hit a stretch where they just – and look, the games are by no means easy. They aren't blowing people out, but they are scoring enough points to win each and every week. And this Raiders team, they were barely functional against the Kansas City Chiefs. They almost beat the Jaguars. I don't know how much of that to put on the Raiders finding something, although they did get a boost from the return of Brock Bowers, who had 3 touchdown catches, or just the Jaguars screwing up, trying to get like breaks go the Raiders' way, and they still can't win the game. And it came down to that 2-point conversion. Still, Denver at home, Denver feeling like it can really do something special this year. This is not a spot to fall down.
No.
I think 24-10 is the final score.
You got the
and it may be competitive for a while.
Right.
It could be interesting. 17-10 in the fourth quarter. Broncos score a touchdown.
Yeah, I
and
hear
maybe
you.
put it away there. But I think that it's not going to be a complete and total blowout like the Raiders-Chiefs game. I don't believe. Who knows? But the Broncos are too good, and the Raiders aren't good enough at this point.
Yeah, I agreed with that totally there. And you're right. I mean, the Broncos, hey, come on. You got the Chiefs are wobbly. They're on the ropes, and they're wobbly. This is not the kind of game you blow and let them back into the conversation here. You know, you got firm control of the AFC West right now if you just continue to win the games you're supposed to win.
Okay. Sunday morning, for the first time ever in Berlin, there have been games in Germany, but not in Berlin. The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Both teams lost last week. The Colts are favored by 6.5. Sauce Gardner out of the concussion protocol. Not yet fully cleared to play, but he did practice yesterday. 48.5 is the over-under. Again, Colts favored by 6.5. Who do you like?
Yeah, I look at this. I mean, I like the Colts, okay? I mean, you know, again, the traveling across the world and all that. I always think it lends itself to a little bit of a different game overall. It doesn't play out the way you kind of think it's going to play out. I look at the Falcons defense and I go, hey, this is a one defense here that, I think matches up pretty good with the Colts offense. The one thing that the Falcons have is they have team speed, right? They don't play man-to-man. We saw last week, that was the adjustment the Pittsburgh Steelers made against the Colts. They said, we're going to stop playing man-to-man, which is better to them, but the Falcons just are not that. And where I think that helps you against the Colts is the Colts have so many, hey, fake here, throw a screen here, fake here, I roll out here. You're not going to get crossed up or confused with all eyes on the quarterback playing zones. And then they're very good at passing people off there in Atlanta as well. So that's where I give them a fighting chance against this phenomenal Colts offense that I really love. The big thing is, can Atlanta stop the run of the Colts? That's where I worry about it a little bit. Atlanta's not real big up front, and they might get pushed around, and I think that's the one thing that gives me hesitation, and I'm certainly not going to pick them to win the football game. I think the Sauce Gardner trade gives the whole team juice a little bit, because now they look at it and go, whoa, wait, the coach, the GM, the owner, they think we can go to the Super Bowl? We're making moves. Let's do that. And the bottom line is, I just don't trust the Atlanta offense. The Atlanta offense doesn't run the ball enough, doesn't run it as good as it should. And then, of course, the passing game is kind of blah. It's blah. That's what it is. Last week, it wasn't real good against New England Patriots. I'm going to go Colts 24-20, so I got the Falcons covering the spread here.
Yeah, I picked this 23-17 before I saw the 6.5-point spread. So I'm doing the same thing. Colts win, Falcons cover. You just can't trust the Falcons. You never know which team is going to show
really
up.
Don't.
And last week, hey, they were on the verge of falling apart against the Patriots.
Exactly.
They started to make things
Drake May
click.
fumbled
Michael
before
Penix
the
Jr.,
half.
Drake London.
Right? Remember,
Yeah.
that's really what changed the game. So you go, oh, yeah, Michael Penix threw 3 touchdowns. And you go, well, wait, 2 of them are 1 yard. Their team offense didn't really do anything. So, yeah, it looked like more Patriots messing things up than Atlanta playing great football, I think is what you're saying. Right, Mike?
One thing I wonder about this one, too, they're playing in Berlin for the first time. The NFL is trying to create this vibe that it'll feel like a mini Super Bowl. The Falcons haven't played in games like this, and the Falcons have shown up in their big games this year. The Sunday night against the Vikings, the Monday night against the Bills. Yeah, they lost on a Sunday night to the 49ers, but they seem to be able to
rise to the
press
occasion.
the button when it's a big game.
Right.
So that may keep it close enough for them to cover, but maybe not close enough for them to win, because now the Colts, they lose that game. They don't want to lose 2 in a row. Nobody wants to lose 2 in a row. Nobody wants to lose 1 in a row. But the Colts had been in firm control of the AFC South, and they got to be careful or that can go away very quickly. Okay, 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday, a full slate of action there. The Saints are taking on the Panthers. This was not that long ago one of the better rivalries in the division. Well, the Saints have 1 win. The Panthers are 5-4. It's hard to believe. They had fallen into that rut where you just see the uniform and you think this team sucks.
Yeah.
And it's still hard to look at their uniform and think they're good. Like the uniform got tainted by how bad the team had been.
Yeah.
But to go into Green Bay and win there last week is huge. And now the question is, after that big win, can they fend off a team that they should beat? And that's really the test. If you've come around, you win the games you're supposed to win. They're favored by 5.5, over-under of 39.5. It is their first game as a favorite this entire season.
That's amazing. Yeah, and now when I look at one of the uniforms, it's the Saints, and I go, oh, yeah, they suck, right? That's what I do when I look at the Saints. So that's how I feel. Of course, I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers in this football game. I think the big thing with me, and of course, it starts here when you talk about Carolina. Carolina wants to beat the shit out of you up front. They want to bludgeon you in the run game. That's what they want to do. New Orleans is not good at stopping the run. New Orleans does not really have one blue chip marquee player in their front 7, in their whole defense, really. I think if we walked on the streets in New York City or wherever, and you said, hey, name some people on the New Orleans Saints defense, they'd be like, I'm not sure. Hold on, let me think about it. So that to me is like a little bit of a litmus test. And then I think on top of that, right, I think Carolina's D is going to whoop the crap out of the Saints. The Saints offense is not very good. It's not all that creative. You got a young quarterback. The Panthers do a lot of cool stuff on that side of the ball. This is a game where I look at it and go, Shuck's going to throw multiple interceptions in this football game. That's what I would expect. And, yeah, I like Carolina in this one. I'm going to go 31-17.
20-9 for me in this one. Tyler Shuck wasn't horrible. He got a bad draw to start his career.
Yeah, he did.
Going to L.A. and taking on the Rams, and this isn't a whole lot better going to Carolina to take on the Panthers when they're above 500. The Panthers really do have a chance to make things interesting. They could make a run at the Buccaneers. They are in the mix for a wild card berth, and this is not the kind of game that you can afford to lose if you're trying to put together a season that ends in a postseason berth. They need to take care of business in the division. They need to take care of business against a lesser team. I like the Panthers to win this one 20-9. Okay. The New York Giants go to Chicago to take on a Bears team that is feeling pretty good after last week's late win over the Cincinnati Bengals in that crazy 47-42 contest. The Bears are favored by 4.5 with a 46.5 over-under. Do the Bears get to 6-3 against a Giants team? And I know that it was Giants coach Bill Parcells who said your record is what, or you are what your record says you are, but they feel like they're better than 2-7.
Yeah.
And they feel like they can be a pain in the ass in pretty much any game. Will they be a pain in the ass for the Bears?
I think so, because I don't think the Bears are, good enough on defense to kind of squash anybody, right? So that's what you look at and go, yeah, that's the fighting chance for the New York Giants in this football game. But I think the problem and where I lean Bears in this matchup altogether is I just go, one, the Giants defense isn't very good. They can't stop the run. Ben Johnson, right? And what he's doing, look at the stats. The Bears offense is what? Top 5, top 6 in football? That's incredible. Well, again, it shows you his value. They're number 3 in football. You know where the Lions are with more talent? Number 11. Yeah, that's called the Ben Johnson effect. So I just look at that and go, first off, yes, I think that the Bears will be able to run. Man, the Bears got a lot of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. You add all that up with Ben Johnson and his creativity, yeah, I think they're going to make a ton of plays. But the question is just how many plays did the Giants make on the offensive side of the ball? I just don't think the Giants have enough playmakers to kind of keep pace here. So I'm going to go 28-20 Bears when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I got 27-17. I just don't think the Giants have enough around Jackson Dart. Although Jackson Dart has been incredible and they can build around him in the future, the Bears are moving in the right direction, and I think they have a boost of confidence. This is the mirror image of last year's late loss to Washington on that ridiculous Hail Mary play. A game that you win that you felt like you were going to lose, and I think that can spark some positivity. And they already have as many wins this year as they had all of last year in Chicago, so I think they get to win number 6, 27-17. Next up, Jaguars at the Texans. Jacksonville favored by 1.5 at Houston. A lot of that has to do with Davis Mills being the quarterback, not C.J. Stroud. He's already ruled out because the Texans had been 1.5-point favorites each of the last 2 weeks at home against both the 49ers and the Broncos.
Yeah.
That surprised me. This one really doesn't. The Jaguars being the slim favorite because of the Davis Mills factor. But the fact that it's only 1.5, Chris, it tells you what people think of that very good Texans defense.
Right. It's all about that, right? It really is. I know it's probably 8 weeks in a row, but I'm going to say it one more time because it's my new thing. The Texans defense can almost win games by themselves. That's what's incredible. And what you worry about in games like this, like you mentioned yesterday on PFT in the morning, and we've mentioned a lot, where, Trevor Lawrence is known to do, what? Did he really just throw that? Did he really just do that? So that's where you worry about this game a little bit. The Jaguars should be okay, certainly. But can the Trevor Lawrence play a game where you go, hey, we need you to be surgical and smart and really execute at a high level? It might not be sexy plays, and can you keep your patience and play that way? Can you not go, oh, I'm sick of throwing 6-yard throws. Now I'm going to try to throw some laser down the middle of the field and be wild with the ball, and it's going to go up and get intercepted. That's what I worry about, right? That's what I worry about with that. But, I'm going to trust the Jags off a bye week, coming off of 2 losses, having a little bit of a fire under their ass a little that way. And then, also, the Davis Mills factor does bother me. I don't think Davis Mills is, again, it's not a great Texans offense, but the C.J. Stroud, his ability to make marquee special throws was the only thing they have going for them. So that I don't love. And the Jags can stop the run. And this is another team in the Jaguars defense that causes turnovers. And with the quarterback just making his second start of the year, I expect him to make a few mistakes. I'm going to go Jaguars 20-17. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to do it.
But here's the key.
Yeah.
Davis Mills was thrust into service last week unprepared, or at least not as prepared as the starter would be. And you hear all the time, well, the backup prepares as if he's going to be the starter. I mean, come on. Surely you don't put in the exact same level of effort.
Well, you just don't get the reps.
Two,
or
you assume you're not going to play.
Right.
He's got the full week to get ready. There's no doubt that it's going to be him. And there were moments last week after C.J. Stroud went out where I look up and I see a ball drop in for Nico Collins to catch, and I think, oh, C.J.'s back. Oh, wait, that was Davis Mills.
Yeah.
So I think Mills can do enough. And he wasn't a horrible quarterback.
No,
he was not. He was the starter before
He's a high-end backup.
Arrived.
Right. I'm with you. I hear you.
And I just think that defense
I hear you.
Is more than good enough when you combine the defense with that Trevor Lawrence once or twice or three times a game where we're like, what the hell's he thinking? I like the Texans 16-13.
I'm not mad at you, Mike.
16-13.
I went back and forth with this one. I certainly won't make it a best bet. I totally could see that happening. Could I see Trevor Lawrence getting strip sacked or throwing some stupid interception? It's a short field or it's a pick six or whatever. I hear you, Mike, all the way. I hear you.
And these over-unders for the Texans games are way too high.
They're
37.5 for this game is way too high. And I think it's because people just like to bet the overs. But, man, this is a tempting best bet. I mean, my best bets when they're based on teams suck, so I may as well just do over-unders. I like the under in that one, and watch, this will be the week that it's 54-51.
Well, that's what you worry about. Like with me, with Seattle, I took the under in that game, and then the Texans' defense scores a freaking touchdown, and you're like, oh, my gosh, I was going to be good, but their defense is so damn good, they ruined it for me. So that's what you got to worry about a little bit.
Bills are at the Dolphins. The Bills won round one earlier this year, and it was a closer game than anyone expected. This time around, the Bills are favored by 9.5 in Miami with a 50.5 over-under. That's tied for the biggest spread of the week. 87% of the spread money is on the Buffalo Bills. Chris, I assume you're going to pick the Bills to win. The question is it going to be by more or less than 9.5?
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Let me get to my sheet here. I'm going by more than 9.5. All right. I am. And I wanted to maybe go more. I'm almost looking at it like Dolphins garbage time touchdown makes it close with the spread. But the Bills are rolling right now. Obviously have found something, right? We've talked about that a lot since the bye week. And the run game's been the focal point. Josh Allen's in a groove. The offense is grooving all together. We saw Miami last week do some good things, but they just can't get out of their way, even in the Ravens game. I mean, that game was really better than what the score showed, but they just messed things up. And I just think on top of that, you coupled that with a week where it's like, oh, wait, the GM got fired. Oh, wait, the guy that's probably got the best chance to be a superstar in our defense, we traded him to the Eagles. It looked like we wanted to trade a bunch of other people. That filters in the locker room a little bit to be like, yeah, they've given up on us this year. So I'm going to go 34-24 here with the Bills in this one. I wanted to make it 34-17, but I gave the Dolphins a late garbage time touchdown right there.
I went 30-21 before I saw the spread, so I am reluctantly giving the Dolphins the cover. And I could see, you get to a point where you get pissed off. You're pissed off. Mm-hmm. Chris Greer got fired. The guy that brought me here got fired, and it's my fault, right? I better go out there and play. So the guy who's coached me for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years doesn't get fired too. And, I'd like to stay with this team in the offseason. I need to go out and play hard. And they did give the Bills everything. I could see a little letdown factor from the Bills this week after getting 2 straight wins and beating the Chiefs, and maybe thinking that, hey, the Dolphins are in disarray. We just need to show up and win this one. So again, if the spread had been 8.5, I would have picked 30-21, and it would be the Bills covering. But at 9.5, just enough for the Dolphins to squeak out the cover by a half a point.
Here's one thing I think you look for, right? Because, we know the Bills can run the ball, and Miami's run defense stinks. But just real quick, for the Dolphins to stay close, can the Dolphins run the ball? Can they stay patient? The Dolphins are one of those teams where you look at it and they go, they just don't run the ball enough. They don't run the ball enough, period. what they do in yards per attempt and what they do when they give the ball off, it shows, the analytics will show you're not running the ball enough. They get too pass happy. If they want to upset or keep the game close, run the freaking ball. And they seem to lose sight of that on a weekly basis. They start a game running, and then by the second or third series, they're like, we're not gashing them for 10. We're only getting 4 every time. Let's start throwing little 3-yard throws all over the field. And it just drives me crazy down in Miami at times. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I was anxious to get to the next game, although I'm not anxious because I have no idea what I think of this game. The Baltimore Ravens, winners of 2 in a row, heading to Minnesota. And, after the Ravens beat the Dolphins last week, everybody on TV is going through they're doing the Mike and the Mad Dog exercise for the next 6 weeks on the Ravens schedule. Win, 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 win. It's like, well, after the Vikings beat the Lions, it's like, I'm not so sure that you just chalk up as an immediate W.
No.
The Ravens going to Minnesota. And the Vikings coming off of that win over the Lions. The Ravens are favored by 4.5 points at U.S. Bank Stadium, over under a 49.5. 91% of the spread money is on the Ravens. The Ravens have no players on the injury report. Now, they may update it on Saturday. And
You're
but
funny.
Who do you like?
Well,
who do you like?
I hear everything you're saying. I hear everything. I certainly think the Vikings defense can give the Ravens some issues. I do. I mean, I just think that highly of Brian Flores. We saw what he did last week to the Detroit Lions. This offense has got, maybe not as many weapons as the Lions, but the difference is they got a quarterback where it's like if you move him off the spot, I don't know if that's a good thing. It might actually be a worse thing when you move Lamar Jackson off the spot. So the game can't be, hey, we move Jared Goff off the spot here. You let Lamar and they bring some of the blitzes they brought last week against Jared Goff. He's going to get outside and contain when Lamar Jackson's going to get outside. And it's going to be like, what do we do now? Our corners aren't that great and we're covering for 6 or 7 seconds. That's where it's going to be interesting. I can see the Vikings be a pain in the ass, but I also can see the Vikings blitzing in a big moment and Lamar making one guy miss and all of a sudden like Zay Flowers is wide open, something like that. I could see a lot of big plays and some negative plays. The question is, can the Vikings offense consistently move the ball in the Ravens defense? Like you said, they're healthy. They're damn good. I feel like they figured out a few things with their scheme that they're doing different that way. And that's my question mark. I'm going to go Ravens 24-21. I think this will be a fun game.
Oh, man. So close. I've gone back and forth on this, and part of it, I guess, is an emotional hedge, but part of it is just realistic. The Ravens feel like they're the better team right now. I don't know how the Vikings are going to respond a week after getting a division win on the road. We saw what happened the last time. They came home against the Falcons in a big Sunday night game after beating the Bears, and it did not work out. Here's where I'm the most confused. The Flores-Lamar Jackson matchup. First week of the 2019 season, when Flores was the head coach of the Dolphins and Lamar Jackson was still a largely unproven commodity. He had played down the stretch in 2018, but Flores, hey, we're going to keep this guy from running. And what did he do? 5 touchdown passes, 59-10 romp of the Dolphins. Now, 2 years later, it was that Thursday night game when the Ravens went to Miami and Flores stymied the Baltimore offense 22-10. So I don't like.
He's seeing more of that defense.
Cooked up a plan.
Right.
They cooked up a plan that worked. This week, and I'm with you. Okay, they're going to cook up a plan, but will it work? And when the game's on the line, will the Ravens, who are extremely confident, I talked to Derrick Henry the other day. What's your confidence scale? 1 to 10 of making the playoffs. They're 3-5. He said it's a 10. So they know they can't lose another one. And I think there's a greater degree of desperation, even though the Vikings are getting closer and closer to that point as well.
Yeah.
24-23. We almost had a bingo, bango, bongo. 24-23. Ravens on a late field goal win the game and move to 4-5 and drop the Vikings to 4-5. And the Vikings are going to be in desperation mode if they lose this one. And it could go either way. There's no way this one's a best bet. But we'll see what the Ravens
the
and
Vikings don't have the
All
Ravens' desperation as far as expectations and what was expected. I think that's the big thing. And the Ravens have a veteran culture of football team where it just makes you feel like in a desperation game for both teams, I'm going to lean that way.
And the Ravens had extra time. And I think extra time makes a difference.
Yep.
to get ready for a game where there is going to be a certain amount of a coaching chess match. All right, next game. Can we just skip this one? The Browns at the Jets.
How dare you?
The Browns are 2.5-point favorites. The Browns haven't won a road game in I think they've lost 13 road games in a row. The Jets are home underdogs, 37.5 over under, 84% of the money. Spread money is on the Browns. You have not picked the Jets to win yet this year. Are you picking them to win on Sunday?
No, I'm not. Okay, that's not happening. This is one a little bit here with, like, first off, the Jets offense. We know it's not a special group there. And I think when you throw that on top of, like, a Browns defense, yes, time off. They're awesome almost every week. They're incredible that way. I think you couple that with the Browns and the style of the Jets defense, which, hey, they'll take some chances. They'll do some different things. And I think because of that, even though I don't think much of the Browns offense, I think they'll be able to game plan a few plays to make some explosive plays off of that. I also think another factor in this is that if you're the Jets, you're back in the mode of, oh, wait, the team has given up on us. The organization we're all on notice. They don't like this team. They're looking to flip it over. Where do we all stand? They've obviously given up on this year. They even tried to trade Breece Hall and just couldn't make it happen. I think that all plays into this. So, and then on top of that, Stefanski giving the play calling duties to Tommy Rees. I'm going to go Browns here. They get their road win, 17-13.
This is pure and complete and total pasta and meatballs. And frankly, lately it's been ketchup and egg noodles when it's time for me to go with my gut. I think the Jets are going to win this one.
Good.
I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. They know. They're playing this game. Is it Justin Fields? Is it Tyrod Taylor? I don't know how much it matters. Breece Hall, how motivated is he going to be? Well, you know what? He's playing for his next contract somewhere else. Even if he feels like, hey, they don't want me here and they should have traded me, they wanted too much, or I'd be on a potential contender right now, he needs to play for himself because his contract next year is going to be directly related to what he does the rest of the way. And there could be that we're pissed off at the front office for trading our guys and giving up on us. We'll show them. I mean, they just won a game before they decided to trade off two of their most important pieces. I think that makes a difference. And again, the Browns haven't won on the road in a long time. And so, pasta and meatballs, Jets 23.
See, I think
Browns
the winning of the game
20.
is going to lend them to, like, we won the game, and they'll be asleep at the wheel this week because the pressure's off. And I just feel like
until they put the pressure back on.
That's
the thing.
The pressure's off now. Right.
Well, but the trades, I think, may spark enough acrimony and just overall pissed offedness to get the Jets to win. But I don't know. I don't know how to read these two teams because they're among the two worst in the NFL. All right. Best game of the day. Best game of the day, and it's at 1 o'clock Eastern. The 7-2 Patriots going to Tampa to take on the 6-2 Buccaneers. The Bucs had a week to get ready for this when they were off last weekend. Got a chance to get guys a little healthy. And the Patriots, who have benefited from a very soft schedule, and you look the rest of the way, there aren't many L's lurking on the New England schedule. The Bucs are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 48.5. Can Drake May and the Patriots go into Tampa Bay and knock off Baker Mayfield and company?
I think they can. I'm going to go with it. I am. I think I look at it and I go, I'm not sure. I think the Bucs have enough firepower on offense right now where they are. I don't think the Patriots will let Emeka Ibuka go off. And I think they have the kind of guys that can match up and cover him one-on-one and at least give them a fighting chance. The Bucs have not run the ball as well. Do we have Bucky Irving back? Is that happening yet? That's not. Right.
He's
still
not
on IR.
back.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be back.
All right. So that to me is big.
He's not on IR.
No, he's not.
He's not on IR, but
right.
he and Chris Godwin, I think, are out, and I think they're going to be out.
Right. That always confuses me. But yes, so I don't trust that aspect. And then as much as I respect Todd Bowles and the defense, my thoughts a little at times, and I think this is one of these games where it's going to be hard for them because the Patriots are patient with the run. I feel like that the Buccaneers, when there's a team that can run the ball, kind of good. They overplay it too much. They play too many 5-man fronts and blitz 6, and I think the Patriots will make big plays down the field in the pass game because of that. And I just don't think the Tampa D is real scary. Man, that's the one thing I come back to. Like, I like their D, but I don't know if there's really a lot of guys that you're like, ooh, I'm worried about him. We can't attack him. Ooh, watch out for that. I mean, other than like Vita Vea in the middle and going, let's not run right at him, I don't know if there's anything else you got to worry about there. I'm going Patriots 27-24.
This is kind of I guess we can call this a bizarro bingo bango bongo.
You're going the other way around?
For the lexicon.
I know you're going.
We pick the exact same score with different team winning. Bizarro bingo bango bongo. Yes, today is the day. November 6, 2025. A new word for the glossary. Bingo. Bizarro bingo bango bongo. 27-24. And one of the interesting side notes to all of this, it wasn't all that long ago in the grand scheme of things that Josh McDaniels got a front row seat for what Baker Mayfield can do.
Yeah.
Because he was the coach of the Raiders the week that Mayfield showed up on, Monday or Tuesday and was playing on a Thursday night.
Yep.
And remember, before the 2018 draft, there was the secret private workout by the Patriots of Baker Mayfield because Josh McDaniels really liked him. So there's a little bit of a, hey, man, you've had chances to get me and you didn't. Not that he would have been able to draft him, but he could have signed him to the Raiders after that season where he had a cup of coffee with the Rams. So I just like that little angle to it. Baker Mayfield always finds something to motivate him. I think he's going to be ready to go. And, we're hearing all this talk about Drake May as MVP. I think Baker Mayfield's going to want to remind people he should still be in the conversation. All right, that's the last of the 1 o'clock games. When we return, the late afternoon games for the 10th Sunday of the 2025 regular season. That's next on Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM Joint Mega
Bingo Bango Bizarro.
Chris Sims Unbuttoned, PFTPM Joint Mega Picks Podcast, Week 10. We're starting the second half of the regular season. We're starting the late games.
We're at the half pole, baby. We're at the half pole. We're going past the half pole. Here we go. Coming down the 3/4 pole. Woo!
There is no such thing as a half pole. Stick a half pole up your ass,
Okay.
or stick a whole pole halfway up your ass.
Okay.
Your choice.
All right.
Cardinals had the
What
Seahawks.
about the full pole fully up my ass, though? I mean, you don't know. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I'm talented. Maybe I'm talented. We're off the rails now.
Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seattle's favored by 6.5. The Cardinals, they got that win on Monday night in Dallas. Seattle, a different team for some reason on the road than they are at home, although lately they've been winning at home. Rematch of a great Thursday night game from earlier in the year. 6.5. Seahawks favored. Over under 45.5. Do the Seahawks run their record to? And I always hate when some teams have had buys and some teams haven't. I think they'll be 8-2 if they win this game.
Yes, I believe you're right. I concur there. I'll tell you for sure. Yes, they'll be 7-2. Sorry, you're wrong, counselor.
They'll be 7-2.
Yeah,
no, sorry.
But either way, we know what you mean. Seattle. Listen, you know, I think we're both in the same boat with Seattle. You've heard me the last few weeks. I think Seattle's phenomenal. I think Seattle can go to the Super Bowl. Or another team I look at that I go, I think the trade makes the locker room for Rashid Shaheed, again, who's been with Clint Kubiak in New Orleans. They can all be like, oh my gosh, the team believes in me, and we got another playmaker. Watch out. And we make a ton of plays on offense as it is anyways. That's what's amazing about it. That's what I love. And their defense isn't even fully healthy. So yeah, all of that. But I do think this Cardinals team is a little bit of a pain in the ass. And I do think with Jacoby Brissett, it gives them a fighting chance. We've seen that. I mean, the statistics are alarmingly better. Alarmingly. So, I mean, you know me, I'm not a numbers guy all the time, but when the eye test meets the statistic test, I start to go, whoa, the Cardinals score a lot more points when Jacoby Brissett plays. They throw for a lot more yards when Jacoby Brissett plays. They are a better offense. He stands in there and makes big throws down the field. And Arizona's balanced on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to pick Seattle to win this, but not by the spread. I'm going to go Seattle 23-21. The other factor I look at here, Mike, is like Jonathan Gannon's a good defensive coach. He sees the same offense 4 times a year. Kubiak is doing the A- version of Shanahan's offense. So he has a vision and knows the rules of that offense a little bit. And I think that's why they hang around. I think they got a little confidence in Arizona right now.
Yeah, I got 24-20.
Ooh, close again.
The Cardinals' overall situation, it's just weird right now.
It is
Kyler
weird.
Murray, I don't think Kyler Murray's ever playing again. I think he'll never wear a Cardinals uniform again.
I'm
I think
with
it's
you.
done.
Do you think, all right, and this is just conspiracy, Chris, I don't know this, but just the way it's all gone on is it just feels like, hey, we came to the conclusion we wanted to start Jacoby Brissett this week, and I don't know, did Kyler Murray go, wait, you know what, I'm not coming back, my foot's hurt the whole year? Or what happened there all of a sudden? We were going to start Kyler Murray maybe last week, then we don't. Then after the game, we go, nope, it's Kyler Murray's job when he comes back no matter what. Then 17 hours later, we go, no, actually, we're going to start Jacoby Brissett. And then all of a sudden, it's like, Kyler Murray's not going to play for the rest of the year either. None of that lines up. Something happened. I don't give a shit when anybody tells me something happened there.
Well, and they haven't said he's not going to play rest of the year. He can't come back until week 14.
Yeah, right. He's going on IR.
I don't
That's
think
what
he'll
I
be
meant.
back.
Right.
I don't think he'll be back.
Yeah.
And I think that they realize things are kind of screwy and we need some clarity and we don't want to have a mess here. So, Kyler, listen, we got a $19.5 million payment that becomes fully guaranteed on the 5th day of the league year. We're just going to put you in bubble wrap, and we'll accommodate you. We will try to find a trade partner for you in the offseason, and he's fine with that. Why come back and risk a serious injury that makes him not marketable at all next year? So whether he's traded, whether he's just flat out released like Russell Wilson was, I don't know, but I don't think he's ever playing for the Cardinals again. Okay, Rams of the 49ers. Rams are favored by 4.5. They had a great Thursday night game earlier this year.
Really good
It was
one.
an upset win by the 49ers in L.A. This time around on the road. The Rams playing at the site of the Super Bowl. Both teams are good. Rams are 7-2. 49ers are 6-3. First place on the line, and the Rams need this one to avoid having that head-to-head tiebreaker fall to the 49ers. Over under 49.5, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, Shanahan's had McVay's number. I mean, there's no denying that. Other than the one NFC championship matchup they have, I mean, it's the numbers are alarmingly on the 49ers and Shanahan's side when it comes to this, right? But this is not a same 49er football team to me. And I do think the Rams have hit like turbo mode a little bit where they're like, nah, we're in Super Bowl mode now. You guys are kind of in, hey, we hope we get in the playoffs mode, but we're in the Super Bowl mode. The 49ers defense is not the same as years past. And I think it's actually worse than it was earlier this year when they were somewhat healthy against the Rams. I think the Rams will have their way to a degree with that 49ers defense and be able to make some plays that way. These games are always close. We know that because of the great knowledge they have within each other's offense. But, yeah, at the same time, the one thing I worry about is what we saw on Thursday night. You know, the Rams, they don't play man-to-man. And we saw that Niners game on Thursday night. Mac Jones was 6 yards here, 5 yards here, 6 yards here, 5 yards here. They can't let that happen again. They're going to have to play a little bit more of an aggressive nature. I'm going Rams 24-20. Very
close. But not, and I could adjust it just for shits and giggles. Well, I got 23-20 Rams.
Okay.
23-20 Rams. And look, I agree with you completely. The 49ers, that 6-3 does not reflect how they're just holding this thing together.
Right.
And I know that's not enough to get you Coach of the Year votes, at least not first place Coach of the Year votes. But what Shanahan's done in keeping this team from imploding is extremely impressive.
It's incredible. I mean, the 49ers are who they are right now because of, to me, two guys, and that's Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh. They are coaching their ass off. Watch every game. I mean, just watch the games. Tell me they're not coaching. I mean, Shanahan with every play right now is like, and he's looking at his play sheet. He's going crazy. And then he puts it down. And he's talking to somebody. And then it's like doing it again. And Saleh's the same way. I mean, because they got to coach their ass play by play right now to win football games. And, yeah, Shanahan deserves to be in that combo for sure. With the injuries on that team, Mac Jones isn't a good quarterback. Oh, wait, he is pretty good. All of that crap around it. Yeah, I'm with you, Mike.
One last point, a fun fact from NBC Sports Research.
Okay.
The Rams have allowed 10 or fewer points in 4 games this season, including 3 in a row. If they do it again, they'll be the first team since a team you were on that allowed 10 or fewer in 4 straight games in a season. Do you know which team Chris Sims was on that allowed 10 points or fewer in 4 straight games?
You know, I want to say it's my Buccaneers 2005 team. It's either that or my 2008 Tennessee Titans team. So that's what I'm not sure, but I feel like it's the Titans team. I believe it's the Titans team, 2008. What is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
You were on NFL rosters. At least you show stats for 5 different seasons. It was the 2009 Broncos. So,
oh, damn.
Try again.
I would not have got that.
2009 Broncos.
Yeah, Mike Nolan, coach of the D. We did do some good stuff. Damn, I forgot about that. Holy crap.
Lions are favored by 7.5 at the Commanders, 49.5 over under. 89% of the spread money is on Detroit, looking to avenge the playoff loss from last year. It's not quite the same team in Washington, mainly because it's not going to be the same quarterback. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like the Lions. I mean, I don't believe in the Commanders. I don't like their defensive system, the way they coach it. The talent's not good. There's not much there to really jump on when you talk about that. So, yeah, I'm going Lions 38-20. Mariota, of course, playing. I don't think is going to be like a huge drop-off, but I think you're going to have a Lions team that's pissed off in this one. The offense is going to be mad at how they performed, and this is a game where I just go, oh, my gosh, between the scheme and the personnel and the Commanders, I just think that the Lions will have their way on that side of the ball.
30-13 Lions. They haven't lost 2 straight games in like 3 years, and hey, they need to reestablish themselves after what happened to them at home last week against the Vikings. And whoever they would face this week is going to be saying, shit, this is the week we have to play the Lions. That's how it's going to go. All right, primetime games for Week 10 when Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM continue right after this.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
And as always, please bet responsibly, only with money you can afford to lose, because if you listen to me, especially in recent weeks, you shall. All right, Sunday Night Football, the Steelers at the Chargers. Both teams won in Week 9. The Chargers are favored by 3 over Pittsburgh, 45.5 over under. Can the Steelers continue to do what they were able to do against the previously 7-1 Colts, Chris?
I don't think so. I don't. No. You know, again, that was good. It was a good start. I hear it that way, but there's still more I'd like to see. Again, I mean, even they had the turnover margin was 4-0 or 5-0 at one point, and there the Colts were going down the field at 17-7. You're going, oh, they're going to score. This can become a game. And then they got one more turnover. I mean, so even with all of that, they had a hard time putting the Colts away, and they had 7 shamrocks and a horseshoe up their ass in that one. So I'm not sold on that yet. Now, one of the keys to the game, and you've heard me say this, when you play the Chargers, if you can't run the ball, then pack up and go home. You're done. Because if you think you're going to throw a little 4-yard slant and 3-yard throw and do that against the Chargers, no way. Absolutely not. When you allow the Chargers to play pass defense, they will absolutely destroy you. And that's where, will Pittsburgh run the ball? Can they run it effectively enough? I don't know about that. So, yeah, I don't love that aspect for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And then on the other side of the ball, even though the Steelers defense better, and they got guys playing at least in the right positions now, and Jalen Ramsey's not playing corner anymore, and he's playing safety. Yeah, I like that. But, man, this Chargers offense, they drop back and they attack. I mean, they're, again, one of the top offenses in football. And it's not because they're like a great running team right now. It's because Justin Herbert is making about as many plays in the pocket as anybody in the game. And I think that ultimately will be the problem with the game. It's just the Chargers offense, too aggressive. I don't think the Steelers can handle them, and I don't think the Steelers offense will keep pace. I'm going to go Chargers 28-24.
You know, I ignored the pasta and meatballs last week as it related to the Steelers because I thought the Steelers had changed. That was a game the Steelers win in past years, and I was so disappointed and disenchanted by the team's performance against the Packers at the game we attended, I wasn't willing to lean into it. This week I am. This is a game that the Steelers are set up to win. They're vindicating them. I don't know why you're happy. You're going to be wrong. Vindicating themselves for a shitty performance. They won't be wearing the ugliest uniforms that have ever been worn by any football team in the history of the sport. That helps too.
Right.
And, I mean, Aaron Rodgers in primetime, building on what they did on Sunday against the Colts. And no Joe Alt No Joe Alt. Alt is out for the year. Look at how different the Chargers are with and without Joe Alt.
Yep.
And to me, that's a big factor.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers have kind of rediscovered whatever it was they were missing. They're pissed off. Of course, they're pissed off because people were pointing out that they haven't been good. But whatever it takes to get you pissed off and salty and fired up, I think the Steelers win this one. And again, if the Ravens beat the Vikings, it's all the more pressure on the Steelers.
You like it, Aaron
to go out there and
Rodgers.
win.
Hey, I knew it. You like it, Aaron Rodgers. That's my new thing. I'm going to start that the last start of the year. And there's no more Kirk Cousins says, you like it, Aaron Rodgers, eh? He says, I don't read a crap like you, but you still like him, eh?
23-17. Go ahead. Do the Italian voice. Go ahead. That's fine. It doesn't offend me.
I know.
Right.
Well, feel free to
Monday Night Football.
Dumb blonde voice and make fun of me at any point. Whenever you want to do that, you have the green light.
But it's not an ethnic stereotype.
I
It's just
know.
you're dumb.
I know. Exactly.
But I don't care. I don't care.
Right.
You can do it. I don't care. It's funny.
I'm married to a
Aaron
Sicilian
Rodgers.
woman, so you know it's not from a place of hate or anything. I mean, come on, right?
All right. Eagles at the Packers, Monday Night Football. Hopefully, but most likely not, people with YouTube TV will be able to watch it. The Packers are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 45.5. I'm surprised that the Packers are favored.
Yeah.
Did they not watch the game against the Panthers? Have they not watched how the Eagles have snapped out of their funk in recent weeks? Have they not watched Jordan Love fail to deliver in a big spot pretty much all year long? I mean, this may be a best bet for me. I look at that spread and it's like, wait, is this wrong? Did Pete put the minus 2.5 in the wrong spot? Who do you like?
I was a little surprised by it as well. Now, the Eagles, as we know, they can, what you always say, play with their food with anybody, right? That's the problem. The Eagles are a rare team. I mean, hear this, Mike. I mean, we both agree the Eagles are one of the best teams in football. I don't feel like I've ever said that comment about a team where I go, wait, they don't have an offense in the top 23 in football or a defense in the top 23 in football? You're telling me they're in the bottom quarter of the league in offense and defense and they're still one of the best teams in the game? How is that? And I think that's like a little bit of where I think there is trepidation. There's still, with me, a little bit like, wait, what are they? Is this sustainable? Had they been lucky with matchups, right? There's a little of that. But they know how to win the game. And the Packers don't right now. I think that's the bottom logic. I think that's what you're saying. Like, have you seen it? The Packers are in games and they lose them. The Eagles are in games and we go, wait, they're being outplayed or not going good, but they win them. And I'm going to go with that, just basic logic right there. Let me just make sure, I got the Eagles 27-20 in this one.
Bingo! And we finally got one for the week.
Bongo.
We need music for this. 27-20 Eagles. Yeah. And the Eagles had last week off, and the Eagles know what's at stake, and the Eagles, I think, sense that things are starting to move in the right direction for them. They've been, they get a little kick in the ass with Jalen Phillips and the two, Jair Alexander, although who knows when he's going to be ready to go. They get Michael Carter. I mean, they're doing what they can to improve. They're showing faith and confidence in this team to become a Super Bowl contender. And there's an extra little something because the Packers are the team that proposed getting rid of the tush push.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
That'll come up at some point.
I hope they do it the first play of the game. I hope they've done it the first play of the game for 5 yards up the middle. They just go the first 15. We're going to go tush push right off the bat. That would be amazing. And the Eagles might be. They're crazy enough to do it, which I would love.
Well, it had gained 5 yards, so what the hell?
I
mean, it's a good play to start a drive with. Okay. So I got 27-20. You've got 27-20.
And
best bets?
Yeah, right. Go ahead. No, I was just saying we got Bingo Bango Bongo, and we could get the total Bizarro, right? So we'll see where it goes. Yeah. Right.
All right. Let's take a break. Best bets and Folsom Prison Blues picks when PFTPM Chris Sims Unbuttoned continues right after this. Chris Sims Unbuttoned PFTPM Joint Mega Picks podcast. Time for the best bets. We each take 3 every week. It can be a team. It can be an over-under. What do you have, Chris?
Yeah, all right. I mean, listen, there is a part of me that thought about tonight, the Thursday night game with the Broncos, right? But I'm not going to do that. My first one's going to be the Panthers over the Saints. The Panthers, 5.5-point favorites. You know, I'm a believer in the Panthers defense. You saw they could slow down the Packers last week. They're certainly without Rashid Shaheed on the Saints, will be able to slow down that group, I think. And the Saints can't stop the run. And when you can't stop the run against Carolina, you're in big trouble. So I'm going to go with that one there.
That is my first one as well. The Carolina Panthers. Hard to believe, given what they've been through in recent years, that they would be regarded as a best bet against anyone. What's your second one?
All right. Well, my next one's going to be the Bears. The Bears at 4.5. I got them winning 28-20. I think there's a side of me, too. At home, Chicago, right? 1 o'clock game. The Giants a little bit now in what are we playing for mode. The Bears in a totally different world and trajectory there. I just don't think the Giants have enough playmakers on that side of the ball to keep pace with the Bears. The Giants aren't good on D. I'm going to take the Bears. They got 4.5.
I got the Detroit Lions. They failed me last week in all respects, as a pick, as a best bet, and as a Folsom Prison Blues selection. This week, given 7.5 to a Commanders team that is in the process of falling apart, it should be more than 7.5.
I thought, I hear you there. That's going to be my third. The Lions are my third. I thought about the Bills over the Dolphins. There is that there that I look at and go, I kind of like it. But no, my third one will be the Lions. I'm with you. I had the Lions winning 38-20. I think they're going to be a pretty motivated, pissed off football team this week.
Anytime I'm surprised to find that the team I believe is going to win a game is the underdog, that's when I say that's a best bet. And the Eagles is 2.5-point underdogs at Lambeau Field. Give me the Eagles because I got a little cushion.
Okay.
I got a little cushion in the event that they lose. They can lose by 2, and I still hit it. All right,
you had the Chargers. I thought maybe you'd take the Steelers, too. I thought that's where you were going to go there.
No.
You don't trust that with the best bet?
No, I trust the Eagles more.
You trust the Eagles more? Okay.
All right. Yeah. Folsom Prison Blues, the one game that you would pick if you were dying in a gutter and you only had one game to pick in the rest of your life, what team would it be this weekend?
Damn, what are you thinking here? I forgot to really kind of look this one up here. I feel like the one I'm going to go with, though, is the Lions over the Commanders. I just don't see that happening. I think I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, the Lions let me down last week. That was stupid of me to pick them in that spot. This week, they won't let me down. Lions.
I thought about Broncos,
We actually have 20 seconds to spare.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was going to be Broncos, Panthers, or Lions. It would have been wild to make it Panthers. They've never even been on the radar screen.
I know. Not since
Cam
Newton.
That's how far they've
come. I hear you. All right, enjoy tonight, man.
Enjoy the games.
Yep.
Bet responsibly. Text me during the game.
I will.
After you've had your smoky.
You know
drinky.
See ya.
Bye-bye.